And these folks got together. I guess they did their form of an insurrection, and they lied and said they were electors. And they falsified a document, all signed it. It was actually 16 people involved. They didn't have all of their photos. And tried to turn the document in to give Trump the election in Michigan. And they got busted because the real electors of Michigan actually showed up first. So they got caught. And they said, there's probably going to be legal action against these folks. And I'm thinking to myself about the insurrection and what you're going to do. Give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Because I don't like punishing each other. It is so obvious it's not even funny. I got a video that I'm going to show you from CNN, and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
First time, suspects have been charged in a 2020 fake elector scheme. 16 Republicans in Michigan are charged with trying to help President Trump overturn the election results. The group met in Lansing back in December of 2020, and they signed certificates falsely claiming that Trump won the state and that they were the rightful electors. They were turned away from the Michigan State House while the actual group of Democratic electors was meeting inside. And an audio recording obtained by CNN early last year captured one of the fake electors boasting that the Trump campaign had directed the entire operation.
We fought to see the electors. The Trump campaign asked us to do that. I'm under a lot of scrutiny for that today.
This is the first time any of the fake electors have been charged with a crime related to that election scheme, which is, of course, also being investigated by Special Counsel Jack Smith. And joining us now on all of this is Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. She's the state's highest-ranking election official and someone who has also spoken to Jack Smith in the January 6th probe. Secretary Benson, thank you for joining us this morning. I do want to ask you about what you just heard there, what we just played, a fake elector saying the Trump campaign asked us to do that. But I wonder, is there a case here that they could make that they were misled or that these were just provisional, just in case they won other legal challenges? Do you see them making those arguments and that there's evidence to back that up?
Well, certainly a lot of arguments are going to be made, but I think the evidence really shows that this was an actionable, well thought out plan. The affidavit suggests that individuals were led into the basement of the party headquarters, and some chose, including a former Secretary of State, Terry Lynn Land, chose not to be a part of it, which should have been a sign that something was awry. She had to then be replaced. And so there's a number of pieces to suggest that these individuals were very aware of what they were trying to do and attempting to do, and then submitting the documents to the National Archives through which they came to my office. Also indicates that this wasn't just a ceremony. This was actually an attempt to lie to the government about where the Michigan electoral votes should be allocated. And there simply has to be culpability for anyone involved, from those who actually committed the acts to, in my view, anyone who helped organize them.
And to that end, there were probably other people involved. If the Trump campaign was involved, people like Rudy Giuliani, even the RNC chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel. Are you surprised that more people at higher levels weren't also part of the charges here?
The Attorney General in Michigan has said this is part of an ongoing investigation. So I think this is the first step, perhaps the first in an ongoing effort to not just seek justice for those who are actively involved at the front end of this scheme, but everyone involved. And so there may be additional charges filed in the future. We'll see how the case progresses. My office is going to fully cooperate with all legal efforts to bring everyone who ran afoul of the law and tried to subvert a legitimate presidential election, bring them to justice.
One of those 16 fake electors, Meshawn Maddock, went on to become the co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party. She accused the state's AG, Dana Nessel, of a personal vendetta, and she added that this was part of a coordinated effort to stop Trump. What's your response to those accusations?
Well, first, there was a coordinated effort. It was a coordinated effort to overturn the will of the voters, not just in Michigan, but in many other states. And that's a coordinated effort we've been consistently not just shedding a light on, but fighting over the last several years. I mean, secondly, when as the affidavit suggests, there's overwhelming evidence that the law was violated, particularly with regards to elections. The Attorney General, and she said this yesterday, has a responsibility to bring charges. It would be a political act to not bring charges in the face of overwhelming evidence. And so I think what you have here is the facts and the law driving the case forward. And any individuals who are part of an effort to overturn an election should, in my view, face justice so that we ensure it doesn't happen again.
Okay, so you hear what they're claiming, that Trump put them up to this. But you know what? These people look old enough to know better. Look at the ages of these folks. And they're sitting around talking about, well, Trump told us to do this. Trump, he said to do this. Well, what are you, 5? Just because Trump told you to do it, that don't mean you had to do it. They sound just as bad as the insurrectionists. Didn't they try to pull that mess too? No matter what Trump stands there and said, it don't mean you have to do it. You don't have to break the law, right? And these folks were more than willing to break the law. And they put their signature on this falsified document and everything. So they weren't that afraid to do this. So criminal charges Tuesday against 16 Republicans who served a fake electors document back in 2020. So they're going after them on the federal and the state level. They said they are being investigated on the state and federal level on this. So some GOP electors in Michigan were local activists who were recruited to serve as fake electors, all while inaccurately believing that there was still a chance that then President Trump might secure a second consecutive term. Others were well-connected GOP operatives. The group of 16 fake electors included current and former state GOP officials, a Republican National Committee member, a sitting mayor, a school board member, and Trump supporters who were plaintiffs in a frivolous lawsuit that were tied to overturning the 2020 election results. Mm, mm, mm. After the 2020 election wrapped up, some of these individuals publicly said they didn't realize they were potentially breaking the law. Well, you lied and said you were Michigan electors. And then you falsified a document and you're sitting there saying you didn't realize what you did was wrong. These people are too much. If you don't laugh at this, nothing will make you laugh. So they falsified who they were, and then they faked up a document and they all signed the document. All of them signed the document, all 16. And then when they got busted, they said they didn't know they were breaking the law. So is this how y'all do it? This how them folks do it, y'all. Just play stupid. Even if you sound stupid playing stupid, just do it. Mm. So they got charges on her, but we know what the insurrectionist charges look like, y'all. But listen to the age of these people. Michonne Murdoch, 55 years old. Co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party. He was one of the forgers. Kathy Burden, 70 years old. So you're this old and you don't know falsifying a document and signing it was wrong. You didn't know this at 70. You didn't know this at 55. Marion Sheridan, 69 years old. She's a vice chairwoman of the Michigan Republican Party. Kent Vanderwood, 69 years old, the current mayor of Wyoming, Michigan. Stanley Grott, 71, a township clerk in Shelby. So this is a small western Michigan town where he's the township clerk. Amy Facinello, 55 years old, a school board member at Grand Blanc, which is a suburb of Flint, Michigan. Marianne Henry, 65, a treasurer of the 7th Congressional District Republican Committee. All these people should lose their jobs, for one. Okay, Michelle Lundgren, 73 years old, Republican nominee of 2022 Detroit-based seat in the Michigan House of Representatives, but she lost. All right. Clifford Frost, 75, a realtor who unsuccessfully ran for Macomb County Board of Commissioners last year. John Haggard, 82. How the hell are you 82 years old and y'all sitting around talking about, we wrote a fake document and signed it. We didn't know that was wrong. My God. One of the plaintiffs in a frivolous lawsuit to overturn the election. So it didn't say anything about them, more than likely retired. Timothy King, 56 years old, was one of the plaintiffs of a frivolous suit. Again, don't have any profession for them. Rose Rook, 81, a member of the executive committee of the Van Buren County Republicans. Myra Rodriguez, 64, a lawyer who is facing potential disciplinary proceedings with the Attorney Discipline Board for her participating in the fake elector plot. Hank Choate, 72 years old, a dairy farmer who met Donald Trump during a White House event. Okay. Kent Thompson, 68 years old. He's a replacement of the original GOP electors. He was recruited to serve before the 2020 election. And last, James Renner, 76 years old, was also brought in later in the process to replace one of the original GOP electors. He's from Lansing. But the age of these folks, they range from the 50s into their 80s, and they sat there falsifying a document to try to give the election to Donald Trump and got busted, and out of their mouth is, we didn't know this was wrong. Okay. Okay. Yeah, falsifying who you are and falsifying and signing a document. Yeah, and I thought you guys got high IQs. So much for that. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.